our friend of the channel, Justine Bateman, which we're a sponsor of her Credo 23 Film Festival. If you would zoom in on that, Alan, thank you for bringing that up. Badger, maybe you can read this for us.
Just for context, she's responding to Cord Jefferson's Oscar acceptance speech, saying why can't studios make 50 movies for for $5 million?
That was the director of American Fiction, right?
Yeah, for American Fiction. So this is her response to that.
Yeah. Here's why studios don't do that anymore. They found that when they spend $200 million on a film, a comic book IP, etc., they can make $300 million. When you make a $10 million film, perhaps it makes $50 million. You're putting in the same effort in negotiating contracts, marketing, and distributing each film. Now, even though that $10 million film brought in 5 times its investment, it only made $40 million. The $200 million film made a profit of just 50% of its investment, but made $100 million. Never mind that it cost $200 million to get there. They'd rather put that effort into one film that clears $100 million than put their effort into 5 $10 million films that maybe clear the same amount. Main reason the 100-year-old film business died and was replaced with this content conveyor belt is because making the best films possible ceased being their true north. Cranking out content became the goal, and this is the result.
100%.
However, Robert,
scroll down.
A new film business is emerging, consisting of real filmmakers who value great filmmaking above all else. Genre, right? Genre. They need genre.
No, and you know what? By the way, beautifully read, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I would like to point out that not only is she exactly right, but the thing is that those multiple films that can become profitable that cost $10 million are the foundation of which keeps the business stable when a $200 or $300 million movie fails.
Yep.
So it used to be both. You could have both. Look at David Rose is absolutely right. The Terrifier franchise is one of the most profitable indie franchises, but for Wall Street, what Justine Bateman wrote is absolutely true.
I'm sorry, but the math ain't mathing, man. Like I don't buy the whole, but we made $100 million. Not when you lost 300. I gotta watch my language. Now, when you lost $300 million, $300 million. I'm sorry. Again, that $100 million gain after a $300 million loss.
Well, they're doing the lottery ticket model. They don't want to make 10 movies. They want to make one movie.
They want to make it's also the laziness aspect of it. There's no creative drive for them to want to make tons of smaller budget films to make that bigger return.
Okay, let me put it another way in the script.
Put it into one.
How do you stay in business that way?
Yeah, and the negative will that you generate from us, right?
You
borrow.
You do a lot of other stuff.
Well, I mean, one part is that a lot of Hollywood, even the biggest studios, they don't use their own money. That's how they're able to stay relatively in business. They're borrowing from theater chains, pre-market sales, lines of credit, tax credits, all those types of things.
Okay, sure, but you can only do that for so long, right?
Well, and if you're Disney, you have parks and you sell toys and you have,
merchandise.
Other smaller studios under you that are also all of the stuff.
Black Snape Moan.
Black Snape Moan is so good, dude.
Okay, and you know what? Like I agree with that if you're Disney, right? But if you're Paramount, if you're Warner Brothers, how do you survive
look at the state of those studios? A lot of them have been bought out by bigger companies now. They're owned by other people because they weren't making any money and somebody had to step in to fix it.
Yeah,
and the thing is too, like I was saying this a while ago, there started to be an issue with Marvel and Disney specifically, just because they're kind of the big dog on campus when it comes to this, but like that content conveyor belt, there was starting to be a thing where people were going like, I just don't remember these films. Like it's not memorable. Nothing about this movie was memorable. And that was kind of the point, is they were hoping, just go see it because it's going to be everybody's got to go see the new Marvel movie. And they don't want you sticking around thinking about that and comparing that to the next one or the next Disney movie or the next Pixar movie. They want you to just go see these things because they were like a must see thing. But when they started becoming forgettable and just whatever, it kind of made people sour to it. And they're like, I don't really want to go see the movies anymore. And it affected everything that way. And now, like everybody says, I don't want to gamble on spending my money to potentially go see a good movie. It might not be good. And a lot of people also then go, I'll just wait for it to come out on streaming. It'll be on streaming in 2 weeks. If it's.
But also what's happened is movies, because they're not, I think you just nailed it, because they're not memorable. Like when we were growing up, we all became film fans. The movies that we saw, we incorporated into our psyches.
Yeah.
You know, when you would see a movie you would love, like in the 80s, whether it was a Ghostbusters or whether it was a Back to the Future, or these were films that when you saw them, they were delicious. You know, and you Poltergeist, you know, Poltergeist and E.T., the Steven Spielberg double fisting punch. Those movies came out within a couple weeks of each other. And when you saw them, they delivered the goods, and you'd watch them over and over again, and they would literally become part of the fabric of who you were as a person.
They stayed in the theaters a lot longer. You guys got a lot longer time to watch multiple.
But I think the stories that were being told, the problem is we now have the people at the top deciding which movies are getting made at the studio level are all looking at other movies. They're like, it has to be this, it has to have this, there's nobody anymore that understands, well, this movie's is different and unique, and we should make this because, like, I always use Roy Lee as an example, because if you look at Roy Lee, he was the first guy that said we should bring J-horror to America. So he started buying the rights to things like The Ring. That's why we got Gore Verbinski's The Ring. He got the rights to Infernal Affairs, which became The Departed. You know, he was a producer that is now, if you look at what Roy Lee's put out in the last 2 years, actually, Don't Worry, Darling, Strange Darling, Boy Kills World, Companion. He brought us Barbarian, a $4.5 million movie that made $40 million. I mean, you need producers and people that can find the great material to get this stuff made. The people at the studios don't know the difference. They have to look at everything and go, oh, so this is like this, so we can make it. There's nobody anymore that their gut instinct is going to say, there's no Alan Ladd going, we should let this Lucas guy make this Star Wars movie.